You're standing directly in front of someone you've met 3, maybe 4 times. You reach out your hand, and the realization hits. Their name is gone, completely absent, as if it was never filed in the first place. What follows is 12 seconds of panicked, improvised theater. You angle your body, nod enthusiastically, and silently pray that their phone rings, or that someone else walks up and says their name first. There is a heavy social tax on this failure. We are taught that forgetting a name indicates a lack of care, a self-absorbed nature, or a general lack of intelligence. A forgotten name sends a pointed message. To the other person, it feels as though they simply didn't matter enough to be remembered. If you are the one chronically drawing blanks, this assumption is backward. Chronic name forgetting has very little to do with empathy or a broken memory. Your brain is actually working with maximum efficiency. It is a machine designed to reject the specific type of empty, rootless data a name provides. A brain that prioritizes differently is not the same as a memory that is failing. You are simply struggling to hold on to data that your mind considers unimportant. The moment of an introduction is far from a calm data entry process. It is a state of absolute cognitive chaos. This diagram represents your working memory running at its limit. It is simultaneously reading facial expressions, processing tone of voice, calculating social hierarchies, and deciding if this stranger actually likes you. For those with high self-awareness or social anxiety, the load is even heavier. You trigger the next-in-line effect, first documented by psychologist Malcolm Brenner. An internal monologue takes over, where you are rehearsing your own greeting while the other person is still speaking. That internal narration acts like a bulldozer. The other person hands you a single, arbitrary sound, their name, and it bounces off an overwhelmed system, disintegrating before it can ever be filed. Your brain prioritized social survival over administrative filing. This is a preoccupation problem. Cognitive science shows that the shape of information determines how well we hold on to it. The 1987 Baker-Baker paradox study highlights exactly why names are so difficult for the brain to grip. Researchers told one group that a man in a photo was a baker by profession. This single fact triggers a massive web of associations: the smell of bread, early mornings, and flour. The word is anchored by a sensory world. They told a separate group that the man's name was Baker. As a name, the word activates nothing. It provides no imagery or concept. It sits in the mind completely isolated. The group that learned the occupation recalled it easily, while the group that learned the name consistently forgot it. Names are semantically empty. They lack roots, making them the first thing an efficient brain drops when it has to clear space. Memory operates as a system of ruthless prioritization. It favors high emotion and patterns over linear recording. Think of a recent funeral. You likely remember the heavy silence, the scent of the flowers, and who was the most visibly moved. You almost certainly do not remember the text printed on the order of service. In a social interaction, the arbitrary syllables of a name is the event itself. Your brain made an executive decision to store the emotional reality of the person and discard the arbitrary label. This pattern of forgetting often points to a specific cognitive architecture. These individuals are often highly associative thinkers. While the name is slipping away, their brain is busy cataloging contextual data. They remember your facial expressions, the specific way you laughed, and the anecdotes revealing your personality. Their brain is hunting for the web described in the Baker study, the stories and feelings that actually stick, rather than the isolated label. This is the architecture of a mind that prioritizes the texture of a person over the sound assigned to them. You can overcome this automatic rejection by building the association manually. You must take that isolated name and force a connection to your existing mental landscape. Repeating the name immediately or tying it to a vivid visual anchor does the work your brain refuses to do on its own. You are providing the context that the name lacks. Forgetfulness is often the byproduct of a brain hijacked by its own internal weather. It is a sign of a mind that is looking for depth in a moment of shallow information. The name was always the least interesting part of who you met. You remembered all the real stuff. The parts of them that actually mattered stayed with you all along.